I want you to know that the world is making you overlook and underestimate one of the most important things that you can ever have in your life. And that's true for everyone, but especially if you're on the spiritual path, on the path to truth. Reincorporating this into your life will greatly transform it, and this will bring you closer to truth in ways that you could never imagine, and in quite rapid period of time. I'm talking about true honesty. And if you think this is easy, or that you're already doing it and that you're already honest with yourself, I bet you're not. There is tons of unconscious lies that you tell yourself and also others that will get exposed through the technique that we'll go over in this video. So I'll give you the tools to re-implement honesty into your life and explain to you why this is actually incredibly beneficial to your life and how it can free you from your self-imposed misery, pain, and suffering, which is born out of the lies that you are telling yourself, even without knowing. So why this is important? Well, when you lie to yourself and to others, first of all, you are splitting yourself. And here and there, you're already creating illusion. So you are living as a separate entity from everything else, divided. And also internally, you will be split. So you will not be integrous, you will not be one with yourself, but you will be scattered into different pieces. And in the end, you will not know which of these pieces is you. See, the devil is the greatest trickster, and it fools the whole world just with lies. But those lies are not blatant in your face all the time necessarily. And sometimes we even contribute to these lies because a dark part of us, an evil part of us, want to get something out of the situation and sees that it's just better to lie for the self. But see, when you do that, you submit yourself to the contract of the devil. You are literally selling your soul, maybe without even knowing it, without thinking there will be any real consequence. But then the consequence comes, and maybe you don't even connect it to the lie that you told. So in reality, every time you're lying to yourself, every time you're not honest with yourself or others, which in the end is exactly the same thing, because you can't lie to others without lying to yourself first. Well, when you do that, you will inevitably go into various degrees of pain, suffering, or delusion. And to be free of this, there is only actually one way, one power, which is far beyond yourself, which is truth itself, which is honest observation of reality as it is while it is. When you see through naked, accurate, clear awareness a lie you are telling yourself internally, it will dissolve because it will be seen as fake, as non-existent, and it will crumble on the face of true seeing itself. And see, quite differently than lies, truth itself has never any confusion in it. It's without any doubts, and it's just undisputable, unquestionable. It's what actually is. So before going into things to keep in mind and the practical ways in which you can free yourself from lies and get back into truth, I want to illustrate to you how this lying is actually damaging yourself and how it is making you live in a false world that is causing you suffering. Imagine that you are a person which doesn't feel confident at all, and so start to fake being confident. Maybe you hear all this advice to fake it till you make it, and actually start to faking your confidence. And the more you do that, the more you start to fool yourself into believing that you actually are confident. But the way in which you interact with others and with yourself internally shows that it's not true at all. So see, this is a lie. See, this will be a complete delusion. You can pretend to yourself and to others all day long that you're confident. But if the truth is that you're not, you actually are not. And this lying is actually what is preventing you from accessing true confidence. Because to go to true confidence, you can't fake it. You would have to drop the pretense, see that you actually are not confident, accept that, be that, and then you will have the possibility to go into true confidence. This example shows one important thing, which is that actually, when you lie to yourself, one part of you always know that. You can't repress completely the truth inside yourself. One part of you will always know that it's not true. And maybe you suppressed it a lot, and it's a faint voice which is almost unconscious, which you ignore. But see, you will never get rid of it, fortunately. Because that voice itself is what can free you. Because that voice itself is what can wake you up and free you from the delusion that you are doing to yourself. Okay, so now that you see more clearly the true value of being honest and truthful and in integrity with yourself, I want to go over some important things to keep in mind that will shatter some insight into this whole endeavor of honesty and lies. The speed of growth and progress will directly depend on your willingness and earnestness. See, radical honesty is one of the most deep practices that you can implement in your life, and it can go as deep as you want. You can take it slowly or really do big jumps. Nobody's out there to run after you, you can decide that, but it has really unlimited potential. And the more you are sincere in that practice, which is actually on the line of being honest, which is the practice itself, the faster you will reap benefit. Truth is just seeing things as they are. There is no mind interpretation about it. Lies cover up your real nature, your real being and essence, your life itself, your true life. Notice that when you lie, whether you know it or not, you are selling your life, you're selling your soul. We lie because we don't accept ourselves exactly as we are. So we build a fake self-image and we live as if we are that. But that self-image is itself built on top of lies. And the devil doesn't want you to know that. Notice how your mind is reacting to what I just said. The self-image wants to keep itself alive, and so it will ignore the truth when it hears it or sees it, and just keeps on lying to itself to keep the game going. You lie to get something that you want or avoid something that you don't want. That's because it's tied to survival. Yourself wants to survive, and to do that, it has no rules. I mean, it does what it can to survive. In this case, lying is a useful and effective tool to manage life by avoiding certain situation or getting certain stuff. Don't pretend to be honest. This is a tricky one. Your mind can fool itself into believing that it is honest, while it is just partially honest. And partial honesty doesn't exist at all. There is only complete honesty about a given situation, not partial. You are either telling the truth or you are not. Don't be afraid of truth. This is probably one of the most important of all, because the ego will respond to truth as if it's a threat, not understanding that actually it is trying to save you. It is trying to free yourself from the devil, from all the pain in your life, all the delusion. It is trying to free yourself from yourself. But if you see it as a threat, you will never let it completely, and you will always push it back and try to avoid it in tons of ways, therefore creating other deception and making the samsara and the maya and the illusion go on and on and on. So if you're able to see that truth is actually trying to help you, to free you, it's not a threat at all, this will be a 180-degree change in your life, because you will actually start to flow downstream rather than upstream. And it's not an easy thing to do. It's really not, but once you're able to see that, despite all the things that your mind tells you, despite all the projections and delusions, you will be in a really, really good place, because you will start to be ready to be rescued, to be freed. Remember, truth doesn't want to hurt you, it wants to take away your pain and suffering. It's time to go over some practical ways in which you can implement radical honesty into your life. I want to reiterate how this practice of radical self-honesty, it's hard, especially in the beginning. You will have a lot of internal resistance, but it will be incredibly worth it. There is no technique that I found more helpful towards aligning myself with absolute truth than this one. And I'm sure that you will find the same when you try it for yourself. This is something that comes up and is told by all the greatest thinkers and mystics. Jordan Peterson, Peter Ralston talks about honesty and authenticity because your being itself is that, is honest, is authentic, is true. If you are not true, how can you be that? So these tools are not in any specific order. You can pick anyone you want, or maybe try all of them. Notice whenever you lie to yourself or to others, but just notice. Don't try to do anything about it. The only thing that you have to do is to see clearly that you lied. That's it. This noticing itself will by itself bring the transformation, will rise your consciousness, and with time you will be less inclined to lie and you will start to notice the consequence of your lying. Another huge one. Notice all the ways in which your mind justifies lying. And of course it justifies it because most probably you're lying for a self-benefit. So of course yourself will find a way to justify it, to do it. But by noticing that, you will start to wake up to the fact that it is lying to you. It is telling you lies about why it's justifiable to lie. This is quite advanced. I'm not sure that you can grasp what I'm saying there. In some cases it will be more difficult than others, depending upon what the lie is and what the context is. But nevertheless, noticing the ways in which your mind tried to justify lying, even to rationally justify lying, saying it's not a big deal, it's a white lie, it will hurt nobody, etc., etc. On the surface, it seems true, but truth is not what seems true, it's what is true. And this is a difference which the devil plays. Another point is throw away everything that is not authentically you. And to do that is very simple. I took that practice from Peter Ralston, which really preaches a lot honesty and radical openness. And this consists in giving up whatever you see as not actually you, not truly, authentically yourself.
Go by the practice of being authentic and perhaps being honest, being authentic. So anything that's not authentic, toss. Now, come on. Isn't there some shit you could toss right away? Huh? Yeah? You. False. Authentically you. So whenever you're a phony, that's not authentic. Your own estimation, so you toss it. You stop being a phony. If you have ideas that aren't really the truth, in your own estimation, you toss them. If you have beliefs that are just beliefs that or just, fantasies like that, it's not really authentic, not an experience you have, you toss it. You consider what's authentic and what's not authentic and stop drawing and then have an authentic experience. Whatever it is, it has to be true. It has to be authentic. It has to be real for you. It has to be true about you. It has to be inherent for you.
We arrived to the last. I found this one to be the most important of them all, the most effective and the most hard. This is telling the truth when you don't want to and endure the consequences. This, of course, greatly varies of its difficulty depending on the situation, on the consequences. But the concept is simple, can be applied in more easy or hard situations. But this really changes your mind, because you start to tell the truth, even little truth, in situation where it's against your best self-interest, or at least it seems so. So from a survival standpoint, it will be better to lie, but you actively choose to not do so and endure the consequence, whatever they are. And this is not only with others, but also with yourself, and can work even on little things. Let's see that you see your mind telling itself lies to procrastinate, for example. Well, you can see these lies and actively stop telling yourself these. Actively tell yourself the truth, even if you don't want, and endure the consequence. So tell yourself, okay, I'm actually procrastinating. What I'm telling myself rationally is not really real, it's just justifications. And that itself would be dwelling on truth. You will be honest with yourself.
But every time I take a mistake, simply seeing it as a fact, instead of lying about it, I am that much freer of it. And much, shall I use the word happier? I'm much happier. To be happy simply means to not be divided in your own mind anymore. That's all it means. That is what happiness is.
Okay, so now you know and have everything you need to start to get back into honesty, integrity, truth, and oneness. This practice will completely change your life if you give it the possibility to do so, and I really hope that you do. If you already dabbled with it or are interested in it and have any ideas to share or insights about this, please drop a comment below. And if you have any suggestion, also write me something below. And if you want to upgrade your body, mind, or raise your consciousness, check the link down below for a one-on-one free holistic self-improvement coaching call. I hope you have a fantastic day. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, and bye-bye.